welcome to the Microeconomics Unit 2 review. Okay, so let's start off with this empty graph here. As you can see, the x-axis shows the quantity and the y-axis shows the price. So if we wanted to, how would we graph demand? Well, if you think about it, if the price of a product increased, then the number of people or the quantity of people who would want to buy that product would decrease. And because of that, this is what a demand graph tends to look like. And the graph tends to look like this because of what we said earlier, which basically is also known as the law of demand, stating that the quantity demanded of a good falls when the price of a good rises. Okay, so looking at the graph, let's see what a change in the quantity demanded of a good would look like. Okay, so let's say that the price of a product moved from P1 to P2. As you can see here, the quantity would decrease from Q1 to Q2, but the whole demand line wouldn't move. It would just be a movement in the point on the same demand line. Now that we know what a change in the quantity demanded looks like, let's see what a change in demand looks like. Okay, so the change in demand is going to result in a shift of the entire demand line, either to the right or to the left. The demand line will shift to the right if the demand increases, and it'll shift to the left if the demand decreases, as you can see here. Now, shifts in the demand are caused by this acronym called PITAR, which stands for population, income, expectations, tastes and advertisements, or related goods, which could either be complements or substitutes. Complements are goods that usually go hand in hand with another product. So, say for example, chocolate syrup and ice cream. Substitutes, on the other hand, are products that basically could replace another product because they're very similar. So, ice cream and frozen yogurt. Okay, so let's see what a supply curve would look like on a graph. Okay, so let's say in theory the price of a good increased. That would probably increase the quantity of people who would want to supply that product because that product would be worth more, resulting in the graph to look like as it does shown here. And this coincides with the law of supply, which states that the quantity supplied of a good rises when the price of a good rises. Okay, so let's see what a change in quantity supplied would look like on a supply graph. So let's say the price of a product goes from P1 to P2. This would cause an increase in the quantity from Q1 to Q2. So as you can see here, a change in quantity supplied is shown through a shift of the point on the supply line, which is very similar to the change in quantity demanded, except instead of having a demand curve, we have a supply curve. Now a change in supply, on the other hand, similar to demand, would be shown through a shift of the entire supply line. To the right if the supply increased, to the left if the supply decreased. And this would be caused by an acronym called PIT-GOPO, which stands for the entry or exit of producers, a change in input price, technology innovations, government policies, which could either mean taxes or subsidies, and expectations.